Hello and welcome to this demonstration of how to use version 1 for SAFE. In this part of the demonstration here, we're going to walk you through the portfolio planning section. So this is where we're going to take those high-level ideas and strategic themes, align them to our budgets and our portfolio tree of epics and features, and then be able to work that work all the way through our portfolio Kanban. In other videos, we have already showed parts of how do we do the admin and the setup for this, and we'll also go through releases and teams as well and how we do those in subsequent videos. So for now, we're going to start with the portfolio level. And we're going to look first at how we've set this up this organization. So at the top level is our enterprise level where we have our easy support. This is typically how we'll set that up with portfolios of release trains underneath those portfolios. So retail products is a portfolio. Under the release trains, we have our program increments, PI1 and PI2. Where if we have mid PI deliverables or deployments we want to do, we can create a child project underneath there, a child level underneath there to represent our sub-program increments if we have those. Where we're going to be focusing today is really where we add our strategic themes and our epics and features. So we're going to be doing that really here at the portfolio and enterprise level. So we'll be working in there right now. Version 1 is very flexible, so if we do have other types of projects or other types of products out there, maybe even non-safe, we can also have those integrated in and we can see those as a separate portfolio, or we can have them integrated in with different levels as well. Any of the values here can be customized or configured to fit your specific organizations. Again, this is just a typical way that we like to set it up when we first go in and we set up a multi-level safe implementation from enterprise down to program increment. So from a portfolio perspective, we're going to start by looking at our strategic themes that we have set up. And this is the same instance that you would be using as part of your test drive as well. So this should be very similar data to what you're seeing in your test drive. So when I go under the portfolio planner and look at strategic themes here, I can see an innovation strategic theme. When I open that up, we can look at the description where I pasted in a lean business case for this specific theme. And this is a great way to document what's going on, maybe attach that as a document here on this specific asset of the strategic theme, and then we can see all the details that we want to do in terms of measuring that. We can also look at how many of the specific portfolio items are aligned to this so far. So these are all of the epics that are contributing to the innovation strategic theme. For strategic themes, we give you a scorecard view of that. So when I go to the scorecard view, that'll show me some key information in terms of completion and backlog makeup. One of the important ones that I like to look at so far is this total value score. So this total value score is looking at the total value of all of the epics rolling up into that specific strategic theme. So we have a business value that will show you on the epic level, and that rolls up to that higher level. Two other metrics that I like to use are the unestimated stories as well as the blocked work items. If I see a lot of unestimated story percentage or a high percentage here, or if we only have 5 minutes to deal with something on the strategic theme with our senior leaders, what do we need to address? That's really what this is showing me are the blocked work items on there. So that's just some of the key metrics we have on this example of a scorecard, and we have scorecards throughout the solution so you can drill in at any level. In this case, we can see all of the different PI releases that we're doing, PI1, PI2, and so forth. This is everything that's making up all of the work that needs to happen to achieve our specific strategic theme of innovation. Another way to view the scorecards is to visualize them from a strategic themes view perspective. So this view here shows us at the center of this, the strategic theme, in this case, innovation. The next level out is showing us our epic view, so the specific epics that make up that. The next level out can be either our capabilities, in this case the reporting capability, or the features underneath there. So we can drill all the way out to the feature level down to the story level. The different sizes here represent the different sizes of story points or estimates that we have on the different stories that we have around that. So this is just a nice big picture view that allows us to see exactly what we need to do in order to build out this specific strategic theme of innovation. We can also view this by ignoring the closed items and say, just show me the open items that are on this specific report, which helps us to see how much we have remaining for that specific strategic theme. That might lead us into a budget discussion, so we can go under our portfolio planner and look at our budgeting for that strategic theme. And inside of budgeting, we can view that a couple different ways. We can do a planning level budget by dollars, or we can do a strategic themes budget here. So in this case, we've taken and we've looked at and allocated all of our work to a specific strategic themes budget, and it's showing us how much of that work is budgeted across these various different strategic themes. The budget segment here is a percentage, so we should do 20% of our work this year should be under core improvements. We can also look at what we would do if we completed all of the work that we have in the queue right now. We'd be just at over 4%. So we're just under our 10% goal, or in this case, 20% goal. So we need to get more work into the queue for core improvements. And we can watch that in terms of progress as well as completion. So just one way to view the budgeting from a strategic themes perspective. If we want to, we can also budget by dollar amount, so we can put a run rate out there. In this case, we're looking at the different portfolios of work that we have, and we have specific dollar budget amounts that we can roll up into. We can also break that down further. If we want to do a budget at any level, we can do a budget at a PI level if we wanted to, and do a PI1 and a PI2 budget if we do budgeting or costing down to that level. So that gives us a high-level view of that strategic theme. By looking at the detailed portfolio items on the portfolio tree on the planner, we can go in and see the details for that here under portfolio tree. This allows us to see those strategic themes and how we're aligning that work. This is an example of a grid, and on these grids, you can customize and configure these specific grids here. You can also set your own views with filters to see different things that you want to see on the grids here as well. So by changing these views and setting these views, it allows you to filter and set the specific view that you want to see. This epic is being rolled up from a number of different features underneath it. So we have features rolling up into the epic. You can also put a capability in there. So I've got features rolling up into this reporting capability, which then rolls up to the epic as well. In version 1, we assign the work down here at a story level. So as I expand this feature down to the story level, these are showing me the defects and the stories on here. And each of these teams is working on one or more of these stories. So this is showing us who's rolling up into the feature and which teams are rolling up to the higher level at the epic level. Where we have dependencies across this work, we can see where we have a dependency either met or unmet, and if we have any warning signs to say this specific story may not have something scheduled or we may have something out of whack, and we can track those dependencies by looking at the details on each individual story or overall from a status perspective. The planning levels here show us the different levels of work that we've planned. So we've planned a lot of this already into this. When we go into release planning in another video, we'll show you the details of how we schedule that work into those various different releases. When I open up the details page on an epic, it'll show us how we can see all of the work that's rolling up from a business case perspective, as well as our story points and the teams that were working on this. One of the things that we've added is our ability to put our cost of delay in here by adding up these 3 business scores. So when we add up business value, time criticality, and risk reduction, that gives us cost of delay. Business value, this is the score that we saw rolling up to our strategic theme. So we know how that's rolling up and impacting our strategic theme. But when we divide the business value here by the swag or the estimate for this specific, the size of this specific epic, that'll give us this weighted shortest job first number. So we can use the weighted shortest job first number now to rank and sort the various different epics that we have on that epic tree. A couple of the key things I like to use here, there is an epic scorecard, a visualization of the epic, so you can look at the details there, as well as the dashboard. And the dashboard view will allow you to see all of the features that are rolling up into that epic in this case. And I can also see all of the delivery projects that are rolling up into that epic as well. So if you have multiple different arts or multiple different portfolios contributing to this specific epic, you can see how that work is rolling up and contributing to this specific delivery of all of these features. This is also a great report for your Scrum of Scrums or your team meetings where you want all the individual team leads to come and meet for this specific view. So once we have our features and our epics here, again, we can sort these here if we want to by dragging them up or down. We can also multi-select and we can rank these if we want to. Using the rank feature, we can rank these by weighted shortest job first or by any other method we want. Once we have that prioritized list, then we want to look at this on a roadmap so we can see how those epics align on our roadmap. The roadmap here, in this case, we're grouping and filtering this by strategic theme. So we can see our innovation strategic theme. And when we open that up, this is showing us the epic with all the features underneath it. This specific view, I can hover over and look at my specific release, in this case, PI1. And this is showing me just the features that are being built for PI1. It's also highlighting for me the completion percentage. So this is how done we are versus the today line, which is right here. So it's easy for me to see where we are and are we on track for this specific epic. If I want to, I can publish this information, so I can publish this out and I can share that published view of this. I can also use that published view as a baseline to see the different versions of this published plan that we may have from the future versions of that. This roadmap can also be looked at from a deliverables or an endpoint perspective. So this is showing me when we're going to be delivering the biggest rocks of the year, in this case, the epics that are aligned to our portfolio. So we've looked at portfolio tree, our roadmaps, and our budgets, as well as aligning our strategic themes. You can add portfolio items via a template if you want, so you can set up different types of templates and have different values in there. So we can either seed those values, or you can use this as a template to create more epics if you want to use that specific portfolio item template. From a tracking perspective now, we can look at it on our portfolio Kanban, so we can set up different types of Kanbans. This one is specifically for our portfolio items. The values across the top here can be changed, and we show you how to do that in the admin section. If you want to, I can reprioritize by moving these up or down, or I can also reorder these in the priority that we have here, so you can drag them up or down here, and then we can add new items by simply coming in here and adding a new portfolio item. On this board, we've set our WIP limits. So if we want to track and manage our WIP limits, we can come over here and customize this board. This will allow us to set the WIP limits for what we want for these various different items, as well as change the way we're grouping that information here as well. So that's where the WIP limits are being set. And then you can see here that we're violating the WIP rule here of backlog. We only want 3 things in there. So we'll move social media integration out until we can finish one of these and move it along. Finally, we can put blockers on these epics. So if I look at the details here, I can see that there is a blocker, and we can decide if that blocker still exists or do we need to do something with that. So it's a good way to manage and track the different blockers that you have. And those are the same blockers or impediments that we can use down at a team level as we're blocking user stories. So we can double track those and make sure that we're managing that at both levels, so we can attack the blockers from both sides. So the other thing that we can do as we look at cross teamwork, or maybe even cross portfolio work, is we can use the value stream board. The value stream board is going to show us this work across multiple different portfolios. So in this case, I'm looking at work that's crossing the retail products portfolio into the supporting groups portfolio. So what this is telling me is I have a specific epic here, in this case, the UX maintenance epic, that has some work that's upstream that needs to get done in the retail portfolio epic. So we can align those. You can set the beginning and end dates for this, but this is showing me when we need to get this work done if I'm in the retail products portfolio, so that we know that we're not going to impact this specific portfolio here, and they can get all of their work done. So this is one of those views that you can use. Instead of having the teams on the left-hand side, we're showing the portfolios. You could also drop down and show this from an art-to-art perspective and have a nice value stream view of that and see how the work is progressing across different planning levels. So in addition to that, I like to also, when I'm creating these portfolios, we've created a portfolio dashboard here. And this portfolio dashboard will give us a specific view of the Kanban and the details that I want to see. And we've configured this in our settings here for a specific view, so you can see exactly how we want to look at that. And again, this one is a feature view, so we're seeing the individual features that we have on the roadmap on the left-hand side, as well as our feature level Kanban, so we can track the feature work as we're moving that through and tracking those features as they go into implementing and beyond. In addition to that, we can also add things in like our portfolio tree. We can edit and manage the portfolio tree. Again, this view here and all the views we're looking at are filtered for the specific settings that we put on this specific board. If we want to have analytics, we can also drill in and see the analytics as well as the individual scorecards for this portfolio. So it'll allow us to see different views of the data and have it all at our fingertips here instead of having to click through some of the other screens that we looked at earlier. Let me just go back to my home one more time. We're going to go back to my dashboard. And this is another place where you can set the specific dashboards that you want to see for your portfolio. In this case, I've got it at the enterprise level, but I could change this view and I could put a different art or different portfolio level reporting in here as well and change the views that I'm seeing here simply by changing the view and adding additional views here on the portfolio. Finally, under the reporting section, if we go to all reports, this will show us some of the detailed reports that you can see, whether it be the scorecard that we already looked at, some of the other dashboards, and some of the other high-level portfolio reports that you can go through and see. Some of this obviously requires a little bit more data, but you can go through each one of those at a portfolio level, and that will help give you the information that you need to see at those different portfolios if you want to go in and see additional detail or reporting at that level. So from a high-level portfolio perspective, we started looking at this from a strategic themes view. We then went through all the different setups. This is the portfolio version of this. Again, if you want to see more details or have more information about the other sections, please watch the other videos in this video series. Thank you and have a great day.